We all moved up to the Detroit area.
Yeah, about 1937 from what I see.
Could be.
Yeah. Now, you never met Edward Gray or remember him at all?
No.
Yeah.
No. I was in the office one time when Gar Wood was in the office talking to my dad.
Yeah.
I embarrassed my father.
Yeah.
But
Now, that wasn't the time you were skating, or was that something?
that was the time I came down to go ice skating, and my dad said I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I kind of argued with him a bit about it. Gar Wood was standing right there.
Yeah.
And I think it embarrassed my dad.
Yeah.
So when later on that night I got paddled.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my mother used to paddle. She used a board about this long, about so wide, and it tapered down to a handle.
Yeah.
That was her laundry paddle for dipping clothes out of the laundry.
Yeah.
But it served as a paddle too.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you were saying there was one of the guys in the Gar Wood crew that we saw on the funeral list that you remember. Do you remember which one that was? George something, I think?
Oh.
Do you remember some of the names of the guys that...
Oh, Jimmy Woodmansee.
Yeah.
The one that used to race with Gar. What was his name?
Orland?
Orland Johnson.
Yeah.
Orland Johnson was his mechanic.
Yeah.
And they used to race together. And they were there. They were part of that crew.
Yeah.
Did I say Jimmy Woodmansee?
Yeah.
Orland Johnson.
So did you meet those guys at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Orland Johnson lived over, I think, around Marlboro. I don't know where Jimmy Witzman lived.
Yeah.
But then Tom Pell was the night watchman.
Yeah. And so that picture of him petting the pheasant was sitting on eggs, you said?
Yes.
And that was to like the right of the shop? Or the office, I mean?
Yes, as you face the office with the canal at your back.
Okay.
That you went around the right end of the office and up a little incline and close to the building that was stuck up out of the ground. That's where the pheasant was sitting in the nest.
And you were saying the office was to the right of the bridge.
Yes.
Yeah. And that there was a two-lane bowling alley in there?
Yes, there was a two-lane bowling alley in that building.
Yeah.
In fact, Dad set pins for Gar Wood and his girlfriend one night.
Oh.
So.
Yeah. Well, that must have been his wife, Merlin. Unless it was Gar Jr.
No.
It was Senior, huh?
It was Gar Sr., and at that time he had a girlfriend. Because they were divorced. He and his wife were divorced.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he and Merlin divorced, huh?
Well, no, I say divorced.
I think Merlin was...
At least they were separated, and I think divorced.
Huh.
And there was a girl, a younger girl, lady that he brought in, and they bowled a couple of games.
Yeah. So, only about once you remember meeting Gar Wood?
That's the only time I met Gar Wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were saying that the project that your dad was working on was on a Spanish engine?
It was a Spanish outboard engine that they took, and Dad designed a clutch for that engine.
Yeah.
And of course, to do that, they had to take the engine apart.
Yeah.
And they put a new engine block in it. It was different. And I used to go down and watch them. They had two outboard engine drivers up. One was from Indiana, and one was from Texas. And I know their names, but I can't think of them.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're the ones that worked on the mechanical part of the engine.
Yeah.
After they had all the parts cast and machined.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that put the engine together.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that tested it on the the landing boat that Gar Wood Jr. had designed.
Oh, Gar Wood Jr. did that. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it had a double bottom. I think it was about 9 feet long. It was an 8-man landing boat.
Small ones, huh?
Or,
Yeah.
and they put the engine on that and would run it over on the Canadian side of Belle Isle, where there was a marked mile that a boat in the water could measure that mile. They had 4 signs, 2 up here, 2 up at the top and 2 down at the bottom. And as you went by them and they lined up, you would start the mile as the first 2 lined up, and as you went down the river and came to the second 2, when they lined up, you knew you'd gone the mile.
Yeah.
So that was their way of timing.
Yeah. And you were saying that you rode in the bow sometimes on that?
I rode in the bow for ballast. That was an exciting time for me.
Yeah.
And I'd run home from school, and when they're getting ready to run over to Belle Isle and test it, and they would let me go with them. Of course, they put a life jacket on me, and I would sit up in the bow.
Yeah. So you must have been about 12 then, 14?
Probably.
Probably
Yeah,
12.
because I was 14 when Dad died.
Yeah.
Probably about 12.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. Now you told me one time you got a tour of Gar Wood's home.
Yes, that was later on.
Yeah.
After that was after Dad had died.
Oh.
A friend of mine from school, John Sims, we used to be together a lot. He lived across Essex from where I lived, but we got together a lot, and we did a lot of things together. And we walked down to Gar Wood's home, down Keelson Drive, and down to Gar Wood's home. And Henry Swanson was the housekeeper there. And, Wood was not home. Gar Wood was gone at the time. And he took us through and showed us a lot of the home.
Yeah.
And he played the pipe organ for us.
Yeah.
And a baby grand piano played automatically along with the pipe organ.
Yeah.
And so we aired out the pipe organ a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did you say you went roller skating in his house?
No. Henry Swanson told us about a group of kids that Gar Wood Jr. had brought in.
Oh.
And some of his friends, and they roller skated around the teak wood floor in the big living room. It was all teak wood.
Oh.
And so they roller skated around the floor there.
Oh, gee.
And I guess they had the pipe organ going for the music.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there was a bunch of kids with Gar Jr.
Yeah.
So some friends he knew.
Yeah. Okay. And did you get up into the pipe area?
I don't.
You don't remember that?
I think we got a glimpse of that, Paul,
Yeah.
but I can't really remember too well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the pipes were loose.
Uh-huh.
They set down into holes,
Yeah.
and it was all cut out,
Yeah.
and a bunch of tapered circles where the pipes sat down in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
Anything else you remember about Grayhaven much at all?
no, except we would go down there in the summertime. We would swim in one of the canals, and we knew that it was really mucky.
Yeah.
And I remember we'd sometimes pull mud puppies out of that canal,
Oh, gee.
and we'd swim in the canal.
And in the wintertime you'd skate down there, you said?
Yep, in the wintertime we skate down there.
You were telling me about you skated all the way to Gar Woods, and then the ice broke up and you had to walk along the site wall almost.
We skated down the canal one time in the wintertime. Well, I guess it would be if we were skating.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, we were going out towards the river, going as kids will do, going as far as we thought we could.